All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've done quite a few video reviews of Otto Link mouthpieces, ranging from metal and hard rubber. But in this video, I basically want to help you to decide which Otto Link you want at a specific price point. So maybe you don't want to shell out $800 to $1,000 on an authentic vintage Otto Link, or maybe you don't want to drop $500 to $800 on a type of retro type of tribute Otto Link mouthpiece. So today we're going to compare a modern vintage Otto Link versus your regular Supertone Master Otto Link. All right, let's get to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so over here we have our new Otto Link. Over here we have this Otto Link, which is around 20 to 25 years old. Sorry about all that background noise, I can't take that out. And here I have my old new Otto Link. This is the modern vintage mouthpiece here. So we have a 7, an 8-star, and a 6-star here. And these Otto Link ligatures are pretty hit or miss, depending on just what kind of ligature you like. So I also have here this BG ligature, which I use with these Otto Link mouthpieces also. Now this one did not come like this, obviously. It came looking like these, but over the time, it just started to attain this type of color, or discoloration, I should say. I want to show you this forehead here. You can see where that angle change is, and it's actually kind of similar to what's on the new Supertone Master. It's really obvious where that forehead is here. I like to use face and body terms to describe mouthpieces because that translates very easily into other languages. Another thing with this mouthpiece in particular, this is the 6-star, is that the bore, I need to be very specific about what I'm calling the bore, because across different countries, they call the bore something different. But the bore, at least in US English, the bore is just the inner part of the shank. Sometimes the bore can be referred to as just the inside cavity. Specifically, when we talk about a bore on a mouthpiece, we're talking about the shape of the inner part of the shank here, or the leg. This one is fantastically tiny, and it's the reason why I actually want to sell this. This one is definitely, in my opinion, the best of the three. But for that reason and that reason alone, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I actually had to buy a separate neck for this mouthpiece, but because this bore size is so small, now I can only use that neck with this mouthpiece. I paid around $300 for this one. So that with a $400 neck makes this a $700 investment. And it's a good neck I like to use for a bunch of other stuff also, because it's a $400 neck. I want to use it on more than just one mouthpiece. But I don't know if in the future Otto Link will plan to open that up, or maybe I'll just have this thing opened up. I'm actually really pleased with this new, very standard Supertone Master Otto Link. I would like for it to have a little better quality craftsmanship as far as the plating goes, and also just making sure that the dimensions are equal and where they're supposed to be. Okay, all right, let's weigh these things out. This is the regular Supertone Master, 92.7, 92.79, and the modern vintage, 96, right on the money. All right, so here's the inside chin of the regular Supertone Master. See how that is very slightly wedgy there? And let's take a look at the modern vintage. You can see how much thinner that is. less restriction in the airflow. That combined with these thinner rails, they're tapered here thin toward the tip. You can see how they're thicker on the regular one. This also contributes to its free-blowing nature. These are the only two mouthpieces that I have that are really doing this, but you can see these black marks here. This is the separation point from where the reed is in contact with the mouthpiece. If you have a gold-plated metal Otto Link mouthpiece, you can probably check yours to see if yours is doing that too, but this just kind of reinforces my point about something funny going on with the plating process. And here you can see that the regular Super Tone Master, sorry about that train in the background, is a little bit taller than the modern vintage, and you can see how the leg or the shank of this mouthpiece is a little skinnier on the modern vintage. All right, let's try to get an idea of about where the facing curve lifts. The modern vintage. Let's take a look at the regular Super Tone Master. These tip openings are slightly different from one another. You can see how there's this discoloration and spotting that's on this mouthpiece. It was like this when I got it new. And when I got the modern vintage new, it didn't have the spotting, but now it's starting to come in. You can see this location right here. That's starting. And you can also see how it's starting on the shank here, on the leg. Okay, before I was in the purple room, now I'm in the red room. Okay, regular Super Tone Master. Okay. Okay, modern vintage. Okay, definitely just a lot less resistant. A lot less. Ultimately, the modern vintage is the easy to play, less resistant mouthpiece versus the more traditional type of resistance. It's sad that so many people are making Otto Link mouthpieces better than Otto Link is making their mouthpieces. So here's something that I would like to see from Otto Link. Now, definitely an improvement in quality control, but I would like to see them do with their mouthpieces the kind of thing that Sios is doing with theirs. It's just a matter of time before somebody offers customizability with metal, more similar to the way that Sios is doing it. And the things that you should be able to customize are rails. You can have two options, standard or thin with the taper, like we saw in the modern vintage. Obviously tip opening, but with plating, much better quality plating. Aye! Silver, gold, rhodium is hot. I'm seeing a lot of bronze now. With the inside chin area, I would like to see 3 customizations. Thin, like on the modern vintage, like a thin but with a wedge, a little thicker than on the standard Otto Link, and like on some other vintage or older Dukoffs, how it's walled off like that. I would like to have those 3 options. And last but certainly not least, give us at least 2 options for the facing curve. I do not know if it's going to be economically feasible, but all it takes is for somebody else to do it, and then everybody jumps in. So as a consumer, having a platform like YouTube and having the consumer be able to voice their issues and concerns and things that they would like to see in a product that they want to spend their money on, I think that these are excellent options to maybe offer us as consumers in the future. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. I'm still working on my saxophone sound, how to build your sound and your tone video. It's going to be a big one. All right, thanks for tuning in. See ya.